This is America's Man's Man, and today I want to talk about pussy. Not actual pussy, not the wonderful, warm, soft, lovely pussy, but to pussy as a term of, as a derogative term, or pejorative kind of term for men who act like like pussies, right? Listen. Because I know what I'm gonna get in the comments. Oh, you hate you're misogynistic, or you hate women. No. And that's the reason that feminists react this way, is because they don't have a man in their life. So it's all about them. They get defensive. They jump to the defense. Well, what about me? I have a pussy. Does that make me a bad person? No, of course not. No, we love the ladies, and whores love. Whores don't love me. Ladies love me, but whores don't. Wow, I really messed up that bit, but that's okay. You get the idea. Ladies love me. Whores do love me too. It's just that they don't like to admit it because for obvious reasons. But ladies love America's Man's Man. Whores love me more, but they'll never say so. But they not so much. We don't really mess with them. But by the way, before I continue, can I just say fuck Princess Meghan Markle? Because there's nobody more fuck-worthy, maybe apart from Rosie O'Donnell, than Princess Markle, right? I mean, she did one over on our, I don't want to say our father country or our mother country of England, because it's really not. We're something new. We're something different. Reinventing is the American way, and but we do respect England a lot, and we don't really respect Canada, but we respect most of the British Empire, as it were, and it's Meghan has disrespected the Queen in the worst possible way. We all know why it didn't work out very well. But it's not. It's neither here nor there. It's water under the bridge. Like pussy as a derogative term for men. So what does it mean if you've been called a pussy? Men? Let's think about this. If I call you a pussy and you're a man, I mean, I guess you can playfully chide a woman. It's like, I don't know. Maybe there's that's a side thing. Like if you're serious, if you're calling a dude a pussy, that's an insult. If you're calling a girl a pussy, obviously there's nothing. There shouldn't be anything insulting there. If there is, I guess maybe you could make a mistake that it's coming from a misogynist homosexual. Of course, no one is more misogynist than homosexuals, because, well, they wouldn't be homosexuals if they didn't hate women for whatever reason. Why do they hate women? Well, they probably hate pussy. But if you are a feminist, if you are a girl, if you are a woman, and maybe you're privy to a man calling another man a pussy, I'm gonna say you really can't win if you're it's a bad play if you're a woman to call a man a pussy for a lot of reasons. Again, that's outside the scope of this instructional, educational video from America's Man's Man, as I help America's men find their mojo again, as it were, at americasmansman.com. If you are watching this video somewhere else on the internet, please come to our homepage at americasmansman.com, because chances are that of course, that really big video site where everybody goes to watch videos, eventually they're going to axe us, and we will not be available there, and you'll be like, oh gee, where do I find America's Man's Man? And Google will not send you there. So don't go to the everybody video site, because they actually axe videos just like this one, because oh, Peter's being so intolerant and hateful and all that. And in reality, I'm trying to help you, and I'm trying to, if America's man's man calls you a pussy, not in front of people, okay? Say in private, say America's man's man calls you a pussy, you should thank America's man's man, because if you keep on doing whatever you're doing, or if any of America's man's men say, well, you're kind of acting like a pussy, all right, I'm exaggerating a little bit. You probably shouldn't thank them, because that's just kind of proving the point. But you should be thankful that some man cares enough about you to tell you that basically, how women never actually tell you exactly what they want you to do. But men are, it's like if it's basically saying, listen, dude, listen, man, if you keep on doing what you're doing, eventually you're gonna find your penis in some dude's ass, is basically what it means. And being America's man's man, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So if you're a pussy, if you're a man and you're acting like a pussy, I'm gonna call you out on it. I may not even use that word, but now again, I know the feminist, big, the ugly woman out there. I don't like, what are you calling? What did you call me? Because it's all about them, right? And it's really, it doesn't have anything to do with you if a man is calling another man a pussy. But again, they're defensive, so they're not going to get that. But I want to flesh this out, because I'm not BSing you. Like, this is logical. So stay with me. If you're a girl, okay, and I called you a douchebag, okay, now that's like calling a guy a pussy, because you're not, in other words, it's not bad. It doesn't, in other words, if you're calling a dude a pussy, you're saying that essentially he's an offense to nature, because men are not, obviously if you're acting in an effeminate way, according to all of mankind tradition and all of our law, up until the fake news got a hold of it like a century ago or less, you're an offense to nature. You're sinning. You're sinning. No sin is private. People say, "Oh, I don't care what they do in their bedrooms, as long as they're not hurting anybody." Well, they are hurting not only each other, but they're hurting everybody else. The anal bleeding is just the beginning. Okay, it's a sickness. It's a psychosis. So in other words, it is unbefitting of a man to act like a pussy. It is unbefitting of a woman to act like a man, okay? And it's just the way it is. It's the way nature designed us, okay? And so to call another man a pussy, I mean, it is an insult. Of course, it's an insult. But the reason it's an insult, like we insult a lot of people, and it's the most constructive way to deal with a dude being a pussy. If you really want to help them, you can invest the time and energy in it. But most pussies don't want to be, they don't want to correct course. And you're usually helpless if you're usually, I don't want to say you're helpless. You're usually, it takes more time and energy than it's worth to try to. They're not like people, the kind of person that watches this video and who wants help. If you came to this video, you want help. In some way, or you want to scope out the landscape. You want to know how America got so fucked up, and of course, it's my privilege and honor to help reveal the truths of the universe to you. I'm not inventing anything here. I'm just kind of telling it like it is. Unlike what the fake news trained me to do, which is to basically adhere to legalistic bullshit that doesn't make any sense. By any count, basically, follow the homosexual globalist agenda and warp my language adequately. So here I reveal the tricks of the trade of the fake news, the communist fake news, the anti-American terrorist fake news, and educate you, enlighten you, bring you up to speed on just how many ways media has fucked with your mind, and it's fucked with your mind a lot. So it's, in other words, so anyway, so girls, there's no need. There's no need. There are things that women are just not meant to hear. Just like guys don't want to hear about the details of, female hygiene. Except the really sick ones, like the ACLU is saying, oh, men need tampons too. Just, you can't make it up. It's true. It's awful, but it's the same is true. The opposite way. You have girls don't. It doesn't edify. It does not benefit a woman to to hang out in the men's locker room and see what goes on there. It's just not meant for. It's not meant for that. Our president had a private discussion with another man. It was intended to be private, but someone decided to record the discussion, for which there was an expectation of privacy on the part of the president and a gentleman from, I think it was Access Hollywood, who took part in that discussion. And it was called the locker room talk or whatnot. And locker room talk is absolutely fine. You want, if you're a girl, you want everything that you've said in your life to be put on television for all the men in the world to hear. Or men, if you've said things about women, to your friends, to your classmates, to your uncle, your cousin, whoever you like to talk about such things with, would you want that to be put on television? Would you like? There are things in your life you probably don't want on television, and they shouldn't be, because they have a time and a place. And they have in common that there's an expectation that you rightfully have, an expectation of privacy, and that that should be respected. And maybe there are exceptions to that, but in any event, but my point here, the chief point of this video, is that men should act like men. If they're not acting like men, then call him a pussy. It's like, well, okay, realistically, is this the best way to deal with the situation? I'll tell you that the right way to deal with it. I'll tell you what the right way to deal with the situation is not. It's not the way that evangelifish church people today, wussified pastors, deal with it, which is to come into the church and we'll love on you to death. It kind of falls apart when you're dealing with homosexuals. Doesn't really work, because the homosexuals end up taking advantage of the church. I'm getting a little bit off topic here, but I guess the bottom line is that men who insult other men by calling them a pussy, whether they're right or not, there's a movement. There's a like the left tries to troll everything. The left, like Nancy Pelosi, trolls American culture. The communists, that's what they do. They troll American culture. They troll the Constitution. They pretend to be patriots. They pretend to be for freedom. They pretend to be liberal and open-minded, when really they want everybody to be in a pattern of groupthink. So there's an effort on the part of the left to do what they always do, which is to try to convince men that somehow, like they're trying to convince, I got accused of being, they called me gay after the Brookstone thing happened, because I didn't want a lesbian telling me like 5 times during my workday about how she was going to get married to another woman. This doesn't make sense, right? It just, on all levels, and and I called her out on it. Well, if a man calls another man a pussy, believe me, like I call this dude a pussy because he acts like a pussy. Does that mean that I hate pussy? No, it's wonderful to stick your, got it? Good. But if you're a dude, if you're a girl, okay, but if you're a dude who is being a pussy, then yeah, that's not good. That's a mockery of nature. So real natural pussy, wonderful, love it, beautiful. Depending on the person, we're a little more discriminating than the average millennial. Dudes who are pussies tend to not really care that much. They're not as discriminating. But dudes who act like pussies, bad. So real pussy women, good. Beautiful women, good. Good-hearted women, good. Faithful women, good. Monogamous women, good. Good monogamous pussy, okay? Dudes who act like pussies, bad, okay? Why? Because it is unbecoming. It is an abomination to nature for man to act like a woman, because they're on the slippery slope to sodomy, and vice versa. It's wrong for a woman to act like a man. So if you call a woman a dick, then it's probably the worst thing you can call her. It's worse than calling her a cunt or something along those lines, because even there, which obviously that's bad too. That's bad too, but it's not quite as bad as calling them a dick, because if you call them a dick, you essentially you don't give them credit for at least being what nature made them to be. You're calling them a freak of nature. You're calling them a transsexual of sorts, or some kind of mutated, genetically engineered transsexual, we'll call it. And so it's an insult. It's an insult, whatever the motivation. It's an insult to call another man a pussy. But if you call another man a pussy, you're really, you're not denigrating women because the what makes the insult work, the nuts and bolts of why it's insulting, is that it's a dude acting like a pussy. Pussies are supposed to act like pussies. We love pussy, right? We love pussy. We do. We love. I love pussy. Don't you, gentlemen? So as someone who loves pussy, I'm saying that it's okay. Someone who loves women, I'm saying that it's okay to call another dude a pussy if he's being a pussy, and that's an insult. But it's not an insult to women. It's an insult to the dude you called a pussy. Okay. Does that make sense? Did I lose anybody? I'll take your questions as long as that legacy upload video site will allow it. Again, they're going to kick me off of this site. So again, come on over to americasmansman.com, and I'll take your question in the comments at americasmansman.com under the vlog post. And thank you so much for following America's Man's Man. Men, don't be pussies.